Hi, in this video we are going to be talking about osteoblasts versus osteoclasts. And just to break down these terms here, we have the word we have the prefix osteo in front of both of these words. And osteo means pertaining to bone. And osteoblasts and osteoclasts are basically different types of cells that you can find in our bones. So let's say we are zoomed in inside of a bone. So let's say this is the inside of our bone, and then this is actually our bloodstream on the outside. So we've got osteoblasts in here. We've also got clasts in here. So what are each of them doing and what's the difference? Because they sound really similar. So osteoblast, a way to remember it is the B stands for build. So osteoblasts build bone. So these are helping us get more calcium in our bone, more strength, more volume. It's just not brittle. It's like a strong bone. So when babies are developing, they start to produce a lot of osteoblasts so that their bone can strengthen. Because at first they start off very weak and brittle, right? But they do strengthen. And we can thank that to these osteoblasts that are building bone. Now osteoclasts are essentially the opposite. We can think of the C as chew. So osteoblasts build bone, osteoclasts chew bone. So chewing bone, you can think of it as like chewing bone away. So it's taking away the calcium. It's sucking up all that calcium. It's decreasing the strength. It's decreasing the volume. And it's causing increased brittleness, right? These are very weak bones. And this is actually an implication of diseases such as osteoporosis, where the bones become so brittle and it's causing a lot of pain and a lot of other symptoms, which we will not be discussing today. But that is caused by greater expression of osteoclasts and less expression of osteoblasts. And that's what's causing this bone breakdown. And that's the main essence of this entire disease, right? So how are osteoblasts and osteoclasts controlled? So this is where we think of two important hormones. The first hormone is parathyroid hormone, or we can just call it PTH, and the second hormone is called calcitonin. And let's go back to the osteoclasts over here. Another good way to remember this is that C stands for chew, right? C can also stand for calcium. So we're going to chew the bone, we're going to take up a lot of calcium, right? So let's get back to our hormones over here that are going to influence osteoblasts and osteoclasts. So first, let's think about calcitonin. Let's look at this suffix here, calcitonin or calcitonin. You can think of this as tone down. You can think of that as tone down. And then this prefix over here, calci, sounds like calcium, doesn't it? So let's put this all together. We are toning down calcium. And when I say tone down, where are we toning down? Notice how I drew these hormones in the bloodstream area, right? This is also the bloodstream on this side too. So we're lowering the amount of calcium in the blood. So this means that we have too much calcium in blood, and calcitonin is going to come here, inhibit that, so we get less calcium in the blood and more calcium in the bone, right? And more calcium in the bone, that sounds like osteoblast, doesn't it? So calcitonin will be influencing osteoblasts. So let's recap that one more time. Calcitonin tones down calcium, and it's toning it down in the blood. So if we have way too much calcium in the blood, then calcitonin is going to come in, tone that down, and cause the uptake of calcium by the bones right? Now, parathyroid hormone, you can think of it as the exact opposite. So we don't really need a mnemonic for this because we know what calcitonin is. We know PTH is just going to be the opposite. So PTH is when there's too little calcium in the blood and we want to increase it. So PTH functions to increase calcium in blood, right? And it does that by pulling calcium away from the bone. So now we have less calcium in the bone. And what does that sound like? Yeah, you guessed it. It sounds like osteoclasts. So calcitonin increase calcium in the bone, and that is going to cause increased osteoblast activity. And PTH is going to be doing the exact opposite. So it is increasing osteoclast activity. We are chewing that bone. We are taking all of that calcium out so we have more calcium left in our bloodstream. So there it is. That's basically osteoblast versus osteoclast, and also how these two important hormones, parathyroid hormone and calcitonin, are involved. Hope that helped.